Okay, hello everyone and welcome back to Always Watching. Today we're discussing The Boys episode 7, the episode before a make it or break it finale. And everything about this season really does feel like they're laying the groundwork for season 5. And I feel like the finale will either be incredibly underwhelming or very explosive. And based on this episode, I'm leaning towards explosive. Sister Sage has been fired and Butcher is contemplating genocide. At the moment, the boys are pretty down bad. They're trying to stop an assassination plot, as well as stabilize this virus that they're not even 100% sure will kill Homelander. And to make matters worse, the scientist in charge has run away. To begin, Homelander has reached new levels of pettiness. Firecracker is now his consigliere, his advisor, and God bless the two of them, but they are totally useless. It is like the blind leading the blind. Anyone with any sense could tell that Web Weaver was not the one. Yes, is he untrustworthy? Is he nasty? Is he just an all-around unreliable individual? Of course. Is he the leak? Absolutely not. And I think Firecracker's ego is just as big as Homelander's, and she's very delusional. She's basically made herself sick giving this man milk. And outside of satisfying his ego, she's pretty much useless, and he knows that. Now, one of the biggest revelations this episode is Sister Sage. She knew A-Train was the leak, and she never told Homelander about it. And I don't know what Sister Sage's motivations are, but it's very clear that she has a plan. Now, whether or not she accounted for Homelander's ego and pettiness, I'm not sure. Because even before she agreed to this, she was worried about this. She even told him, like, basically, the only person who's going to mess this up is you. And I wonder, now that Homelander has broken their agreement, how does that change her plan? Does it change it at all? Or did she just walk out? Is she kind of over this? And again, they are motivated by two very different things. With Homelander, we know what he wants. He wants power forever. With Sister Sage, it's really unclear. Listening to her talk about how everything was going according to plan, and you just have to stick with the plan, it was really telling, because that moment when the boys broke into that apartment and they found this, the evil plan to assassinate the president just lying there, the whole thing really does feel like a setup. And I think Sister Sage and Homelander, they make a great pairing because they're willing to do anything to get what they want. But again, we don't really know what Sister Sage wants yet. Sister Sage is okay with these internment camps. She's okay with doing whatever. Like, it doesn't seem like there's anything that Homelander has done that has horrified her besides his ego. Like, there was one moment when he was talking about his wisdom, like, she quite literally rolled her eyes. She's like, "Excuse me, sir." Like, you don't have wisdom and you don't have knowledge, but I do. Homelander's decision to let her go, I think, definitely will come back to bite him. But again, we're going to have to wait to find out how. Now that Sister Sage is gone, Homelander decides to do what he does best, which is murder. And I thought the fact that he chose to come after Butcher and the boys was really detrimental, considering that the entire government is after them. And this fight was really spectacular. And I really do appreciate the contrast between Deep and A-Train this season. Deep is just terrible. He's a terrible person. And he basically confirmed that he's exactly who he was in that first episode, which is just an assailant and a criminal. Like, he's had no growth. He's gotten worse and worse and worse as the seasons have gone on. And what's scary about this army that Homelander wants to create is they have this entitlement. They feel like they should get away with things because they're and then you have A-Train, who has also done horrible things. Like, he is not a good person. However, he does feel remorse for his actions, and his fear was very palpable this episode. He explains to Marvin, like, "Listen, I don't know what you think this is, but if we miss our shot at this man, then it is over for us. It doesn't matter which country we go to, Homelander is going to fly there, and he's going to murder us. So you need to get your stuff together." And I think what's sad about the boys is that I'm sure there are other soups like A-Train that they could recruit, soups like Vicky, because Vicky for better or worse, she doesn't share Homelander's vision for the future. And I'm not really sure why they need to resort to a virus that could cause genocide and not just form their own soup army. Because again, I'm sure there's plenty of people that would love to take this man out. I thought it's very telling that Vicky did not know about Homelander and about Sister Sage's plan for these internment camps. And I'm not sure she would go along with it if she knew. Even if Homelander is able to get this power that he so desperately craves, how is he able to hold on to it? Like, how was he able to control someone like Vicky? If he can't even control the Seven, he couldn't even control someone like A-Train. And again, A-Train's arc, I think, works so well this season. And this episode really drew the line. The boys are out of time. Homelander is tired of beating around the bush. He has sent his boys. And now is the moment. Like, whatever you're going to do, you need to do it now. And whoever loses needs to run for their life. I think one of the biggest issues that the boys are having is they don't really know what the day after looks like. Let's say they take out Homelander, then what? What are you going to do now? And I think Butcher's struggle is that exactly. Even if we kill Homelander, maybe there's another Homelander. Maybe there are soups more powerful than Homelander. And so he's leaning towards this genocide because it's kind of just a solution. And the scary thing about this genocide is I'm not sure that this drug would be able to take out all soups. And for the soups that it doesn't take out, it would probably trigger civil war. Like the amount of chaos that would come from this would just be catastrophic and would easily just overshadow anything Homelander has ever done. So what is the day after? Like, okay, they kill Vicky, they kill Homelander, now what? And I think that's kind of why the boys are struggling. They're living day to day. They're literally reacting to what Homelander and the Seven are doing, and they haven't really been able to control anything whatsoever. And watching Homelander this episode, he is just at rock bottom. Like, his reaction to A-Train, I thought it was very telling that he just had no idea that it was A-Train. Like, he was really hurt. And again, I think he has this blind spot. I think he's convinced himself that he's literally scared everyone into obeying his every command. And his ego truly is his blind spot. So is his son. I thought the way that the episode opened was perfect because when we talk about the day after and taking out Homelander, Homelander is a product. He's a product created by a company that weaponizes their popularity to crack down on anyone who attempts to regulate them or control them. And I thought this whole commercial about say something, do something was so creepy because as we saw at the expo, they have hardcore fans. People really attach a lot of meaning to these characters. And it's not far-fetched that some of these fans would report on their families, would report on their friends. Like, it sounds crazy, but these companies really are the supervillains. And until you get rid of the root problem, it really doesn't matter. I think the issue the boys are having is that they're not really able to see the bigger picture, which is not Homelander, but the individuals that created Homelander and could create other Homelanders as well. I did want to mention Ashley for a second. Ashley's character arc, I have no idea where they're going with her. I hope they're going somewhere with her. Like, maybe she'll be like a Trojan horse. I thought the fact that she did not go with A-Train was really telling. There was a moment where she was staring at an old photo of herself wearing a Che Guevara t-shirt. And he was, like, of course, a famous Cuban revolutionary. And this company has given her everything, but it's also taken everything from her. And she's a pressure cooker, like, waiting to explode. And the one thing that Vought is very good at are these commercials, is rebuilding their image. And until you can destroy their reputation, until you can really get at this image of Homelander and this image of this company who cares about people and creates these innocent products, like, nothing really is going to change. I'm so curious to see what they do with Ryan because Homelander is pretty much at his wit's end with his son. He's tried to control himself for as long as possible, but I don't know how much longer that he can kind of hold it in. His son keeps going off script. He keeps doing whatever he wants. And on one hand, Homelander, like, he wants to control him, but he doesn't want to scare him away. And the only difference between Homelander and his son is that Homelander knows how to control his powers, whereas his son does not. Which in a way could be good and bad because his son just doesn't know how powerful he is. But from what we've seen, he could potentially kill his father. then you don't need a genocide. So they have a lot of storylines to wrap up. This whole thing with Starlight, again, that whole bit with the shapeshifter was so gross. Again, the whole thing felt very set up. And if this shapeshifter wanted to steal this laptop, I'm sure there's other ways she could have done it. So now I'm wondering if maybe the plan is to frame one of them. Like, whatever it is, it's been very well thought out of. Also, for a moment, I really thought they were going to kill off a character, because this whole storyline with Frenchie and Kamiko, I feel has been so wasted. Like, Kamiko and Frenchie were really central. They gave Frenchie some purpose this episode, but he has been MIA. He has been off screen. And I'm not really buying that he feels so guilty that he would turn himself in. Like, I don't think he was very well written this episode. And for a moment, I really thought Kamiko was going to die. Like, they were going to lose someone. And instead, they save her. But this storyline between the two of them, I feel like they need to include them, but they didn't really give them good material. Maybe that will change in the last episode. But the way at the moment, it does feel like the boys are fractured. It does feel like they are all kind of on totally separate pages. And it might really come down to Butcher and whether or not he decides to go through with his genocide. This finale has a lot to wrap up. Again, either it's going to be fantastic, spectacular, 10 out of 10, masterpiece, or just a completely like underwhelming disaster. So you guys let me know what you think, and until next time.